from the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg. This is a special edition of Inside Government with Cedric Peterson.
To our audience here at home and around the world, you are now inside government. And this special edition of the program, it is truly an honor to have with me the team that won last year's National Youth Pitch Competition. I'm joined in the studio with Upcycle. Lady, gentlemen, it's great to have you in the program. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Great to be able to speak to, like I indicated to you, a young generation that's of St. Martin's that's going to, we're expecting to take leadership in the near future. You were part of a great experience in 2022 where the Ministry of Finance and Islandpreneur got together to offer young people the opportunity to be able to pitch a business concept. Now, this is dynamic stuff. This is normally, held for a much higher level of person. So the ministry decided to bring it down to the youth, and let's see what you guys have in the tank. Upcycle, as you named yourself. I'm joined here first and foremost by Mr. Isaiah Peterson, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Upcycle. I also have Mr. Jael.
Yep, Jael
Jong-A-Lock, okay, as the Chief Operations Officer, and Miss Kymora Reed, who serves as the Chief Marketing Officer of this brand new initiative called Upcycle. Guys, give me some insight here. Upcycle, what was that all about? How did you guys get that specific name? I want to start there first and foremost.
Well, it was actually a group effort. Okay. Originally, we were thinking to kind of name it something around recycling.
Okay.
So we found the word upcycle, and then from there, it was the normal usual word, UPCY.
Yeah, usually it's with the E in the end. But
Yeah,
we just
usually
took
in
the
the
E away.
Okay.
And you just got creative instead of doing the recycle thing. And I think that's where your slogan, which is so very clever. Why just recycle when you can upcycle? Absolutely amazing. Just to our audience, if you have not gotten a chance to see the actual finals event, be sure to go to our YouTube channel and you should be able to see that there. And also at Islandpreneur's YouTube channel, you should be able to see the replay. Guys, I want to start off with some get to know you a little bit. Mr. Peterson, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Peterson. I'm the CEO of Upcycle. I'm 15 years old, and I attend NBC along with my fellow teammates and friends here.
Okay, Jael?
Hello, my name is Jael Jong-A-Lock. I'm 16 years old. I'm the CEO of Upcycle, and I also attend the MPC.
And Miss Reed.
My name is Kymora Reed. I'm also 15 years old, and I attend MPC, VVO Faith, going strong, and I'm the CMO of Upcycle.
Excellent. Graduation year?
2025.
It's class of 2025. You heard it here first. These guys are definitely the future. What inspired you to take part in the National Youth Pitch?
Well, originally, our English teacher, Miss Fleming, came to me and said, Isaiah, there's this competition, and I want you to take part in this. Create a team of 3 to 4 members. And as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, because Miss Fleming, she always looks out for her students and always presents opportunities to help the students better themselves.
Right.
So as soon as she said that, I was like, okay. I came to Jael. I was like, Jael, you want to take part in this with me? I explained him the competition, at least from what we heard so far, because there wasn't much information given at that point yet. And he was like, yeah. And then I came to Kymora and Rani, our other team member, and they were like, yeah.
So it wasn't an issue gelling because, these team things tend to be about chemistry. You guys really kind of bonded easily on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Because we were all friends from beforehand, so it was kind of easier to work together.
Yeah, that does help. What was your pitch about? And tell us a little bit about your company concept.
Okay, so Upcycle is a recycling company that will recycle plastic and turn into a reusable form that companies can use in their manufacturing. But that's where we want to start. And from there, we want to expand into other materials. Because ultimately, Upcycle is a problem-solving company to help reduce the waste that goes into the environment.
Okay. So how useful was, I think there was a preparatory time there, a stage where you had to prepare for this. This isn't just, guys, we have a competition, jump right into it. You actually went through a preparation process that took like 6 weeks. Take us through that. What was that experience like for you guys?
So the accelerator program, we every Thursday in the evening, we attend some sort of meeting with all the groups from different schools. The first day, we had several groups from several schools, and then from the whole from the whole how do I say it, the whole organization. Only a selected few groups
Of course.
Could attend the next following meetings,
Right.
and we were one of them.
The group that made it to the
Yeah.
actual finals.
Yep.
But there was a large group, and then it scaled down to, I
Scaled,
believe,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
around 6, 7 teams.
How many?
7.
Yes, 6, 7, 7.
Yeah. And that process. Ms. Reed?
Well, in my opinion, the incubator really helped like broaden the perspective. I feel like when we first started out, it was just like, oh, Upcycle. We have a slogan, we have this, but we didn't fully take into account all the actual levels that we would need to cover, or like the boxes we need to check off
Right.
in the actual pitch. So that incubator definitely helped us.
Okay. So the incubator, explain, what is the incubator process like?
So yeah, like
If you had to break it down.
so all the groups gathered and we had presentations from different people, covered finances, marketing, like how to say power stances you'd use, how to talk with your hands, how to capture audiences and stuff like that.
Excellent. Now, I understand that you guys also not only delivered this pitch for this competition, but you had the opportunity to do this with the royal family. Take us through that experience. What was that like for you?
It was an experience. It was an experience. So we had to come, I think, really early, around 10, and we had to kind of set up, prepare for them to come.
Yep.
And they kind of went through the protocol with us from beforehand. We had a meeting with some other companies and other people who would also be speaking with the king and queen and the princess to kind of go through the protocol on what to say, how to address them as, because you have to say Royal Majesty, and you can't just say Mr. and then the last name. So, yeah.
It's a whole protocol aspect that you had to
Yep.
get used to. How did they feel about your pitch?
They really liked it, although it was short.
Yeah.
They were paying attention, especially the queen. She was really into it. While we were having our pitch, they also looked at the video behind us. Yeah, they were really into it because we were the older group there.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is actually the main feature and interaction with that family, especially for you, would have been with the princess. How did she respond to you? Was there any? I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but I'm thinking that, she would have been a little bit more relatable. How was her response?
Well, from what I can tell, watching them go around with all the other groups, she was very interactive. Like she was into it, especially the queen, princess and the queen are all asking questions and they seem to be enjoying it, but that's what I saw.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Guys, one of the key features coming out of this competition was your ability to leave St. Martin, leave the rock, and actually experience what is called an entrepreneurial exchange for this summer. You went to Atlanta. That's where this trip took you. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, first time for who?
First time for all of us
yeah.
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, first time for us to win the U.S.
In
So
US,
actually,
yeah.
All right. So you're a traveler to the U.S. already.
Yes, I am.
All right. So we're gonna get to you afterwards. But what was that experience like for both of you to be out of St. Martin for the first time and be in the U.S.?
I woke up. It didn't feel real,
Like you mentioned, surreal.
She mentioned Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like I was dreaming. It didn't feel real, and a whole different infrastructure over there. The massive buildings, the highways. I had to take all that in
Yeah.
within a week.
Exactly. 7 days to have that type of activity.
Like the roads in America are terrifying. I don't even we were driving and I'm like, what the heck does this even mean? They were just like, it's just completely different from here, man.
Yeah.
Came into the airport and we arrived and I'm like, okay. And then we got on a little train thingy. We went. I'm like, okay, we're out the airport. We're going to go home. We're going to get ready. No, we're still in the
You're
airport.
still in the airport.
We're not done yet. I'm like, hold on. So this place has to be as big as St. Martin or something. It was a culture shock, 100%.
Okay. The process now, because I believe you guys spent like a week there, 7 days. Take us through the journey. Let's start with the first few days of your trip. What was it all like? What was your activity or agenda like?
So the Monday we came in pretty late, around 12 a.m., and we hadn't eaten anything the entire afternoon. So they took us to IHOP at around 2 in the
2
morning.
in the morning.
What?
Yep, it was an experience.
That's a
It
good
was an
place to start.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Open 24 hours.
Yep.
Great. Had chicken and waffles. It's great.
Yeah.
Me too.
Chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
What about you, Mr. Peterson?
I had a cheeseburger.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You left St. Martin to go eat that cheeseburger? He kept it safe. That's right. Okay. What else did you guys do? So the journey throughout Atlanta, because it's a major city, man. This is Atlanta we're talking about, so there's much to see, but I'm sure there were some specific things that you ventured into. Where did your journey take you?
So on the Monday morning, we had to wake up really early to go to this, as I would say, massive building. It was really tall, and it was just an experience to kind of see how big everything was over there.
right.
Because we live on St. Martin, a very small
Absolutely.
island, and I don't think there's really much buildings on St. Martin besides maybe Blue Mall that's over 5, 6, 7 stories.
Right.
But this one was in the 50s, and I remember we all went to the elevator. We were just seeing on the little number screen on top that says was floor you on,
Right.
and it was on 44. And then we had to come off, and I was like, wow.
And
Really
the
full up.
surprising thing is how fast the elevator moved. I'm like, wow.
I mean, it is, how much did you say, like 50 floors?
Yeah. It's like in a couple seconds, you're just like this and you're up there. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
But you could feel the elevation because your ears
Your
start
ears
to
pop,
block.
yeah.
That pressure that builds up. Imagine when your trip takes you to New York and you the Empire State Building.
Oh my God.
That's going to be another one to add to your list of things to do. Guys, I'm going to take our first break. Then I'm going to get back because I understand there's a little football competition that went down with the Minister of Finance. And I want to know if he actually got himself, dealt a little
Island
competition.
Warriors. And the other team, of course.
All right, guys, I'm having a conversation with Upcycle, the winners of last year's National Youth Pitch Competition. Stay with me. My conversation with these 3 young, dynamic individuals continues right after the break. Stay with us.
St. Martin, the time to join the fight against heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer is now. The Ministry of VSA, in collaboration with SZV and PAHO, are launching a nationwide health survey that's coming to a district near you. During the months of July to October, you may be chosen to participate by our fieldwork interviewers. Get near instant results for your blood pressure, cholesterol, BMI, and glucose. For more information, contact us via stepsurvey@stmartingolf.org.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Mr. Mara, it's me. Earthquake are coming in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it'll shake all the sense and the sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking start and you know it's an earthquake, make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit, and the stairs that may be broke up or even full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and then poof, power gone, and you're stuck in a box without air. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls in an earthquake, that is bad news. Take care of yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drops and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't bother run outside and ask, "You feel it? You feel it?" Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Sedema and the government of St. Martin.
Do you know there is such a thing as teen dating violence? Seriously, there is. When your boyfriend or girlfriend is controlling your every move, trolling you online, checking your social media page, recording you without your permission, or forcing you to do things you don't want to do, this is abuse. If you find yourself in this situation, please talk to someone you can trust. Your parents, school counselor, or the police.
This message has been brought to you by Women's Desk.
All right, everyone, if you're just tuning in, you're Inside Government, and I have with me the winners of last year's Islandpreneur Ministry of Finance Initiative competition called the National Youth Pitch Competition. The winners of 2022 is none other than Upcycle. team members, we left off talking about your trip to Atlanta. I want to continue there, giving you the opportunity because there was an actual entrepreneurial exchange. So at some point, you must have met certain key players from a business perspective, probably other young people. Take us through the journey. What did the other days entail?
I want to continue on Monday real quick. So we went to the Chamber of Commerce, and there we were talking about the economic overview of Atlanta, and we're seeing statistics between the different states of U.S.
Okay.
And Atlanta was mostly in the top 4, 3, south, even 1 when it came to
It was taxes and
Taxes.
some other stuff.
Really? So, like, identifying what makes them strong as a city within
Yeah.
the U.S. as compared to who, for example?
The main other place that they were kind of comparing themselves to was Florida, and it seemed like they had like a
Competition.
competition between
A
them and
little
Miami.
friendly competition.
Little friendly competition. Okay, what other aspects of the journey?
Then we also went to Atlanta Tech Village, which is a kind of a building where different companies will come into. There's workspaces. You can talk to different entrepreneurs, get more ideas about your company, and kind of just talk with other people who are like-minded like yourself to kind of get some ideas, figure out what you want to do next and stuff. And then in that building, we had a meeting with some other entrepreneurs and some investors, and they kind of talked to us about their journey, what they do, and gave us some advice on how to continue with our company and other stuff.
These other like minds, your age group?
No, they were adults. They were adults.
Absolutely. Okay. So, what were some of the key things that stood out when it comes to other ideas, like you mentioned?
So if I'm not mistaken, there's this one guy. Was he from Ecuador? From Ecuador, right?
I think so.
Ecuador,
No, is it Ecuador?
somewhere in Latin America.
Yeah, somewhere in Latin America where he came. He was actually from Ecuador, and he came to America wanting to kind of better the people in his country. And he kind of created this program where you can kind of connect people in the computer science field from in Ecuador to companies in the U.S. who need people in that field.
Excellent. Excellent. Going to the end of the trip, what other aspects did you encounter there as a part of initiatives that you might be able to accomplish when you want to come back and come up with ideas for businesses? How did it all close off?
On the last day, we had a kind of recap with Miss Ife and everyone else on the trip, and we kind of just talked about our experience. She asked us each individually questions, just to kind of see where our headspace was. And at the end of it, they told us whatever we're thinking about, write it down. That way we don't forget, and we can always come back to it and, continue it.
Okay. So, kind of like the same question I asked just now. Were you inspired? Because you came up with Upcycle. Were you inspired to do other business ideas? Because one of the key thing about an entrepreneur is, why settle for one business when you can have great concepts and have multiple businesses? Were you inspired to look at other business opportunities?
Yes. Currently, me and Jael, we're currently doing a partnership with a company called IP Media, which is a social media marketing agency for different companies who need that service.
Including some examples. We have restaurants, jewelry stores. What else?
Clothing stores.
Clothing
Yeah.
stores.
What's Angie have? Oh, yeah, clothing store.
Clothing
Yeah.
stores.
Okay. What kind of impact did this trip have on you and the pitch competition overall?
I'll say in a tech village, actually, it was where I had my little epiphany. I was sitting on the couch listening to all the people talk about their businesses and everything. And I was like, wow, I really need to start brainstorming some problems I can start solving. Even now, things I can do in school and stuff. It really pushed me to want to be more productive and get stuff done. So it definitely opened my eyes a lot, that trip.
Yeah.
On Friday, we went to Rice, and there I met young entrepreneurs, like really young, around the age of 10. And that really sparked something in me. I realized there's so many kids. There are kids out there with great ambitions, thinking about business at the age of 10, which really surprised me because when I was 10 years old, I was at home, no ambitions, nothing, and I realized I should also think forward. So
That was the experience. Yeah, that is your experience. Just to take it to that next level, you're realizing that you have opportunities, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Peterson.
For me, it was eye-opening because you were able to see the opportunities that are outside of St. Martin and how you can kind of expand and grow as a person and have different businesses and companies. 'Cause especially with the guy from, I think it was Ecuador, how he was able to go from a foreign country, come to the U.S., and now have a $1 million company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gives you that ambition to realize that even though you're from a small island, your thinking process should not be limited to your small island. You actually have much more that you can offer, but you have to definitely stretch out there and see what's happening in the world. Your educational path, because I know you guys are graduating in the next 2 years, 2025, as we mentioned earlier. Take this opportunity to share with us what's the next step after graduation that you're looking to explore. Start with you, Ms. Reed.
University.
Of course, ultimately.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at different options. Atlanta definitely skyrocketed itself up there. Canada is also an option. And yeah, I would like to study in the field of business or law. That's my primary idea for now, at least.
Okay. Jael?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the future, but also university definitely.
Right.
But I'd first attend a university close in the Caribbean in proximity, and then go over to a bigger university. But in the meantime, I start making some money, maybe even starting my own business.
Yeah.
Maybe working with Isaiah here.
Yeah, like you were introduced, his right-hand man. that stood out for me, which is so important to have that, because this trip not only gives you that insight, but also gives you the opportunity to be able to build a strong network. So I'm sure that you guys would have made email addresses, telephone numbers as a part of your collection when you went to Atlanta, and established a strong network, because this is what it's all about. By the time you get out of university, you have this strong network of people that can help you build your ideas and concepts. What about you?
Well, after high school, I plan on going to university because my parents say, you have to go to university.
Traditional.
Yep. So I either plan on going to the US or Canada.
Yeah.
If I go to the US, Miss Kristen from the US consulate was really, honest about saying, yes, you come to Atlanta, come to Georgia State, come to Georgia Tech. And really trying to push us to come to Atlanta.
Come to
She
Atlanta.
graduated from there.
Yeah.
She's really repping it.
Yeah, absolutely. The ability to encourage other students, like I spoke to you guys prior to the taping, it's important. You don't have to wait until you get into, upper age to do that. You have the opportunity now because you're building that experience. Ms. Reed, let's start with you in regard to the encouragement to the next generation, a young person watching this program and would like to follow in your footsteps. What would you say to that young person?
I definitely tell them shoot for the moon and aim for the stars, man. It seems like impossible. Like in the beginning, at first I didn't think I could do anything outside of school that would really take up a lot of my time and stuff. But the more I really start to think about it, I'm like, I can really do something. You can come up with something. You can think of an idea. Anything. A small start is a start nonetheless, So even if it's just an idea, to go out and try. And if you think you can't, how are you going to know unless you go out and do it?
Absolutely. So
if you have an idea, try it out. If it fails, it fails. It's a learning experience. That's what I'd say.
Jael.
I have to credit my mom for this one. You have to step out of your comfort zone, because the second I stepped out of my comfort zone, I won the youth pitch competition, which is crazy. If you were to approach me last year and ask me, what are you doing next year? I would say, probably stay at home and do nothing. And here I went to Atlanta. So you just have to go out, talk to people, communicate, and you'll go places.
Isaiah.
What I would say is take the first step. Because I feel like too many people, they kind of get clouded by a bunch of ideas that they have in their mind, and they forget the most important thing, which is to succeed, you have to take the first step. Because once you take the first step, the path you'll kind of see it better and better as you move forward. That would be my advice. Take the first step. If you have an idea, start it now. Don't wait until you're 30, 40. Do it now.
I wanted to close off with those words, but let's look at that lighter question that I asked about earlier. The competition that took place with the minister in regard to football, I find that very interesting. Who has this backstory on that for me? What was that competition about?
It was a street soccer game.
Okay.
And there were two teams. I formed a team with Kymora, myself, the Minister of Finance.
And Ife.
And Ife. Yeah, and they switched out a few times, right?
Yeah.
With Julia, right?
Julia.
With Julia. Isaiah formed another team with
Mr. Damien.
Mr. Damien, Giomara.
Jomara, and one of the ladies from the street soccer organization.
Yeah, one of the street soccer organizers, yes. Yeah. And we faced off, and the first round, I scored a few goals. I was the MVP.
Yes. What was the name of your team again?
It was the Dark Horses or Dark Warriors. I have no idea.
You see, they don't remember their
They don't even remember the team names. We were the Island Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an experience. Like I need you to envision the fact that the minister is always dressed in suits and stuff. So he's in business attire with the dress shoes and everything, and he's running around. And he was taking this football seriously. He was really about getting this win, and Damien was too. But unfortunately, he wasn't on the right team. Didn't win. But he was really serious about this. It was an experience, a sight to behold, 100%.
All I'm gonna say is if y'all let the second round actually take up a full round, we would have, won that one. We were winning that one. We were winning that one.
No.
They cut the second round short because they saw we were, winning.
You saw that you were
It
winning.
was a
they saw
tie.
It was a tie. It was a tie at the end of the day. So it's a win and a tie
Which
for
means
us.
we won overall.
Yep, we won.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for allowing me as a broadcaster to have this opportunity to speak with you. As I said, the next generation of broadcasters, next generation of scientists and business owners and perhaps broadcasters, if you guys ever got involved in communications. But thank you so much for sharing your story. Ms. Kymora Reed, Chief Marketing Officer of Upcycle, and Mr. Jael Jong-A-Lock, that's Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Isaiah Peterson, as Chief Executive Officer. Thank you so much for being a part of this edition of our program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to our radio listeners, television viewers, online viewers, thank you for being a part of this discussion with this dynamic group of young people from St. Martin. If you've missed it, be sure to catch video on demand at the official government Facebook page at facebook.com/SXMGOV. If you haven't yet done so, be sure to subscribe to the official YouTube channel of the Government of St. Martin at youtube.com/Government St. Martin. And for audio playback, tune into St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM throughout the course of the day. On behalf of course, the Ministry of Finance, our partners at Islandpreneur, and all of us here at the Department of Communication, I'm Cedric Peterson. Thanks so much for tuning in.